Hello and welcome to the Airbus A320 Neo. Not the Neo actually, it's just the standard. We're currently overhead Calvi, literally, there's Calvi. Coming in from the south from Palermo. We just flew to Italy, to Sicily actually. So we're currently overflying the airport on the Liblo arrival. We need to continue our descent down now. We're going to hit waypoint Calvi and then we turn around and come back. We're going to fly the localizer until the missed approach point, and then unfortunately, and very fortunately actually, it's planned exactly so. The wind is 350 between 050 and 8 knots, so it's a very 8 knot tailwind if I was landing on 818, so I'm going to do the circumslant approach as usual. Not in the charts, so there's no way you can really prepare for this. But we need to enter the destination data at some point, so I'm just going to get the weight fuel. So that's 54.6 plus 4.8, that is going to be 58 plus 1.4, so 59.4. That's entered. Landing LFKC runway 36, it's dry. Meta looks okay, apply the meta. Okay, so low brake's not going to work, medium's going to be fine, max reverser. Main landing platform, autothrottle will be on. Perfect. Okay. So that's that set. We've got medium auto brake already set anyway, as I anticipated that. So arrival wise. I need to remember how to do this one. I believe it's 1800 and then you just set down to 1500. But not exactly sure. Let's check the landing altitude. Is 150 feet, so yeah, 1500 would be the circuit altitude, which means 1800 would be a good downward leg. And I believe the heading was 190 degrees, but it's a visual approach, so we can do what we want, more or less. We better not forget it. Okay, descending to flight level 50, looking good for the localizer. Let's arm the landing system there. So 14.5 miles inbound Calvi, and I can't remember the point, I think it was about 4.5 DME, something like that. There's 1800 there. So let's change the QNH, let's check the arrival data. So we've got the METAR there, it's auto 0208 25 QNH 1014. Temperature is 25. Wind is fine. Barrow is going to be 1000. Activate the approach phase now. I'm actually quite annoyed why do those keep coming up. So spoilers are armed, everything else is fine. We can set flaps to 1 once we're inbound. So there's the runway over there, visual already, so we could just make a full visual approach actually, which basically just means make it up as we go along. Maybe better not do that, okay. So I'm going to actually demand localizer hold. We're going to go and find the localizer now. I'm going to set flaps 1. We've got 18 miles to go. It's a long final. But that was the demands of the star, so we just have to fly it, sadly. No, there actually isn't a... there shouldn't be a glide path. So hopefully there won't be. Right, landing lights on, passenger signs on, taxi lights take off, runway turn off lights on, glide slope mode disengage, we're going to turn off terrain as well. Actually no, we're going to keep terrain on. We want that terrain ahead. Why is there a glide path? There should not be a glide path, this is a localizer only. Every runway now has an ILS or what? So FL18, we need to start our descent down. Speed check flaps 2, 160 knots, let's do 170 knots. Calvi traffic, Malta 24 Golf inbound on the localizer runway 18 circle to land 36. Air Malta today. Felt like a change, you know. Okay, we're not going to take that localizer, that glide path should not exist. Let me check the charts, maybe it does exist, maybe I'm talking nonsense. No, it's a localizer. .09 degrees, so 3.1 degree flight path angle. I'm going to take 3.1 until 1800. Roughly. So 21 knots coming from the right hand side, we don't quite like that. I don't think, anyway. So it's normally quite simultaneous, we'll hit the 4 DME as we hit 1800 usually. Would be 4.8 DME or something like that.
2,500.
Okay, there's 1800 with 60 ME now. Let it level off. Gonna set flaps 3.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
No. I shall do no such thing.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Heading 190. Ish. Let the speed come down now to the normal approach speed. Now I believe, has Calvi been given? No, Calvi has not been given photogrammetry, thank goodness for that. So Calvi will still be a high performance airport for me. We're flying on this heading until we hit the quarry. The quarry is the visual fix for the turnover. We can see the quarry there. That's full. Gear down. The app is 133, looks like I'm going to have to set that myself for these cycling approaches. .20 knots is now coming from 2.4. So the surface one was completely different, but we'll see if we can still make this work. So there's the runway down there. Not yet abeam of the threshold. Okay, there's the threshold. Start the timer, we're going to turn back left onto runway heading 180 degrees, and I'm going to start a descent down to 1700. Sorry, down to 1500. Gears down, everything's set to go. There's my 27 seconds. 1500, left turn now, full bank. Should
1000.
Go runway in sight.
Hundred above. Minimum.
Continue.
500.
Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate.
There's the wind now coming from the
100.
north. Small flare for this one, we've got a downward slope.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Touchdown. And as usual, the reversers won't go anything more than idle. That was right. Steep approach in the last seconds there. And then once it was once we were actually in the right place, we kind of made a nice flare and landed. Noted that for this runway it's a downward slope, so less flares needed, as the runway's anyway trying to jump away from you. So you don't really want to reduce the landing rate too much, because you actually end up just gliding down the runway for half an hour and ending up in the trees at the end, which is, you know, the last thing anyone wants. Flaps up. Gonna taxi off to the backtrack point here. If I was a prop, I would have just spun it around on the runway. That's what we do at Innsbruck, but alas. 37 knots. Okay, tiller to the right. Braking. Tiller left and left brake. Just to help it round. Power to about 30–40%. Tiller off, and off we go back up the runway. There we go. It's a bit of a hectic one actually. 20 seconds thing kind of works. So we're 3 minutes from downwind basically. That was when we did the beam the threshold. 3 minutes from there until turning around on the runway and returning back up. Landing rate wise, I can guarantee it'll be quite a high rate. So let's just have a look at that quickly. 516 feet per minute. Yeah, and it wasn't actually that hard, so the G-forces on landing are more important. We had a 1.04 G landing, so a slight impact force of 0.04 times the gravitational force, which is only, well, it's about 10, isn't it? So 0.4 newtons, roughly. Which is not much. Barely feels 0.4 newtons, it's like being pushed in the leg. So yeah, there we go. One thing though I am very frustrated about is that this reverse thrust just seems to simply not engage. I'm sure it works probably fine for everyone who has the Airbus pack, hopefully, but it's simply not working for me on the standard keybinds of reverse thrust to engage. Like if I now go to reverse thrust, I can click once, twice, and now it works, but it's very fussy basically as to if it does that or not, and that's the last thing you want when you just touched down and landed. So please fix that, Phoenix, otherwise I will be sad. Taxiway off to the right there, no idea where that's going. Probably the local aero club. All connected, external power up. Yeah, so 500 feet per minute on the touchdown, but that's because the runway falls away at 2 degrees, I believe, and 2 degrees, if we think of an aircraft moving at 140 knots, over 2 degrees, we'd have to do some quick trigonometry on that, but we'd have 140 basically being the short side and the 2 degrees being the long side, so the downwards pointing bit is how much altitude we need to leave. Yeah, well, for 3 degrees we need 700 feet per minute, so for 2 degrees we need 500 feet per minute-ish. Let's put it that way. It's 2 degrees downhill slope, it's nearly the same as the approach profile. So yeah, quite a big downhill slope really. You can literally see it there as the top of the building there, and the bottom of the building is much taller at the bottom. You can see that line. Yeah, so 2 degrees is no small matter. It means you do need to be going downwards with a fair amount of speed before the flare. So there we go. Lovely.